Hello, elephant leaders, and welcome to the Purple Elephant Podcast, the cozy corner of the internet where we tell the truth about the emotional patterns running your organization that everybody is feeling and nobody is naming. I'm your host, Janora Ledbetter, founder of the Self Care Network, creator of the Purple Elephant Method, and longtime collector of what is happening in this room right now. Moments in boardrooms, breakout rooms, and brainstorming sessions across the country. So picture this, it's Tuesday, you walk into the office, and the vibe is off. You say good morning, half the team grunts like raccoons, two people suddenly close their laptops like they're hiding FBI documents, and someone is wiping tears in the corner. You get to your desk and an email says, leadership has some concerns. And you're like, what did I miss? Spoiler alert, it wasn't work that caused this. It was feelings nobody talked about. That is attachment at work, and it has the range. So today we are naming the thing leadership avoids like Kel smoothies and HR investigations. Your attachment pattern is running your organization, even when you think you're being professional. We are diving into what your attachment style looks like under stress, how it affects communication, accountability, and trust, real examples, some from my own messy path, repair strategies that don't require therapy bills. You're welcome. And this episode may feel like a read because it is, but you can laugh while healing, right? So, attachment forms when we are tiny little humans trying to figure it out. How do I get my needs met? And when you're little, you learned consistency equals you trust the connection, inconsistency, you cling tighter, dismissal, you avoid needs, and chaos, you protect yourself from everyone. So let's fast forward now 30 years. Now you're leading staff meetings, and your nervous system says, "Well, this is just like when mom forgot to pick me up from school." Your employee missing a deadline triggers panic if anxious, retreat if avoidant, and hostility if disorganized. And we all think we're having an adult conversation when really it's two children in business casual negotiating unmet needs. So, my first job, one email from my boss that said, "Come see me," no punctuation, just come see me. I nearly updated my will. That wasn't work fear, that was attachment fear. And this matters because you cannot build psychological safety with a nervous system that's stuck in survival. So let's talk about the anxious leader first. The anxious leader is passionate, the anxious leader is brilliant, and one unanswered email away from spiraling. So signs include an anxious leader starts apologizing before they speak, and they turn check ins into therapy sessions. An anxious leader might send emails like, "Hey, no rush. Unless you hate me, let me know." So, time. All right, let's talk about my people because the anxious leaders are my people. All right, they are my tribe. They are the ones who are already wondering if their boss is mad at them because they took too long to open this podcast episode. Yes, I'm talking about the anxious leader. And guess what? That was me. So let me take you back. When I was an executive director, my leadership style could be summed up as, what if I do everything so no one ever feels disappointed with me? Meanwhile, my nervous system was on an illegal amount of caffeine without drinking a single cup of coffee. And I remember one day, and if you've ever been this person, you're going to feel this in your chest. We were launching a major initiative. Everyone had their roles, everyone was prepared, everything was fine. But my anxious brain said, no one has emailed me in 27 minutes. The organization is on fire. So I proceed to rewrite an entire communications plan overnight. I add 12 slides to a deck that did not need 12 extra slides. I leave 37 email messages, including no rush, just following up, and totally fine if not. Um, and I offer to do other people's tasks just in case. Did the project succeed? Yeah, it did. Did my team secretly want me to go take a nap and trust them? Also, yes. Because here's the thing anxious leaders don't want to admit: we aren't micromanaging the work, we're micromanaging our fear of being misunderstood, the fear of letting someone down, the fear of not being valuable enough to stay, and then performance becomes protection. And one day, someone on my team, kind, direct, a little too honest for my nervous system, pulled me aside and said, "You're doing the work for us because you don't trust us. But it also feels like you don't trust yourself." And that one knocked me right on the floor because anxious attachment at work looks like dedication, but it feels like panic. And the impact on the team, well, everyone starts looking to you before making decisions. No one learns how to struggle safely. Innovation dies because perfection is the standard, and people are walking on eggshells just to protect your feelings. And you become this leader who never rests because the moment you relax, the fear screams. If you stop proving your worth, they'll replace you. And my anxious leaders in the back row, are you sweating now? Because I am. And you want to know what saved me? I started asking myself one simple question: is this leadership or is this fear? If it was leadership, I moved. If it was fear, I paused. And when silence used to mean rejection, I started interpreting silence as space. And space is good, and space is trust, and space is leadership. You can be a compassionate, responsive, secure leader without turning into a human emotional surveillance camera. You do not need to earn your position every single day. You already deserve to be in the room. All right, so let's now talk about the avoidant leader. Avoidant leaders love results, but avoid people like a pop up ad. So, some behaviors of an avoidant leader: they give minimal acknowledgement, they delegate like Oprah, you do this, you do that, I'll be in my office avoiding eye contact, and they give feedback via PowerPoint. So, an avoidant leader, their life motto is feelings are above my pay grade. I worked with a CFO like this. When asked how the team was feeling, he replied, "I don't track emotions. Do they have KPIs?" Avoidant leaders believe, if I need you, you can hurt me. And so they disappear. And the team feels abandoned because silence at work gets interpreted as, I don't matter. I should just stop trying. So, repair practices for avoidant leaders: they need to initiate one positive contact a day. Don't cancel check ins when overwhelmed, and replace "we're fine" with "here's how I see things. What about you?" Because connection is efficiency and avoidance is expensive. So let's lose the not replying to emails by forwarding them to someone else leadership style, which is what avoidants are really good at doing. Then we have the disorganized leader, and this leader enters every meeting like a plot twist. One day it's hugs, I love you all, you're getting a free lunch, and then the next day, if one more person breathes near me, I'm going to flip this desk. So everyone on the team is using emotional weather apps. Chance of tears by 2 p.m., compensation storms incoming. So chaos isn't personality, it's unhealed attachment trauma in a power position. And the impact of a disorganized leader is a team that's in constant fear, high turnover of high performers, and truth gets buried to survive the day. So, some really important repair practices for disorganized leaders is they need to share the why behind decisions. They need to set rituals for stress. Breathe, walk, name the fear. And they need someone who can help them communicate consistently. because your team isn't afraid of the work, they're just afraid of your unpredictability. And you can't be given TED Talk energy in the morning and then Voldemort by lunch. And then we have the secure leader, the leader we all aspire to be. So the secure leader isn't soft, it's just regulated confidence. So the secure leader, they have boundaries without punishment, they give feedback without fear, they have accountability without shame, and they support without smothering. And their nervous system tells the room, we are safe to think here. And that is where innovation lives. And the good news is, no one is born a secure leader, but you can practice towards it and turn into one. So, some of the daily questions are, what am I assuming without evidence? How can I make someone's job easier today? And what would leadership look like if I trusted myself right now? So, the real truth is there's always an attachment pattern behind your people problems. Not turnover, not miscommunication, not performance. Those are symptoms. Your attachment pattern is the root cause. So you have to ask, which version of me is leading when things get hard? That's the elephant. And the elephant is tired of being ignored. So I want you to pause and write these two prompts. When do I feel unsafe at work? And how do I protect myself in those moments? Now, I want you to rewrite the protection behavior into a leadership behavior. So, for example, if you wrote, I withdraw when overwhelmed, you will change that into a leadership behavior, which is, I ask for 2 minutes to reset and then return grounded. That is how you move your pattern, not overnight, but daily. So a client I worked with had 27% turnover, but every exit interview said the same line. I never knew where I stood. That was not compensation. That wasn't workload. That was attachment driven instability from leadership. And so we did a purple elephant diagnostic. We addressed the feedback insecurity and we shifted communication patterns. And turnover dropped to 8% in 4 months. Culture didn't heal because we changed policies, it healed because leadership changed patterns. And there was a moment that I was terrified to lead. I wanted to be liked so badly, I let fear make decisions for me. And that fear cost my team clarity and it cost myself peace. But choosing to see my anxious attachment pattern changed everything. So, naming your wound doesn't weaken you, it just frees you. And so, I want to invite you, if you're ready to name the attachment pattern that's driving your workplace, I want you to book the Naming the Purple Elephant strategy session with me because it is designed exactly for leaders like you. It's 90 minutes. We identify your leadership attachment pattern. We map it and we map the impact across your organization. And you walk away with a targeted repair plan. Because this isn't surface level employee engagement. This is culture healing at the root. So I've dropped the link for you to book the session in the show notes. And you better book it before you talk yourself out of growth. Okay? Because this is needed. This is going to change everything for you in 90 minutes. So I just want to thank you for being brave enough to listen to this episode and to laugh with me. And I want you to share this with a leader who you feel may be going through this. If not you, I'm sure you may know someone. So I'm Janora Ledbetter. You already know. We just talked about the elephant in the room. Looking forward to talking to you next time. Bye.